Welcome to our channel. I hope this video is useful. What is rock climbing? Rock climbing is a sport and recreational activity involving the ascent of natural or artificial cliff faces using hands, feet, and specialized equipment. The origins of rock climbing as a structured and recognized activity have a long history associated with mountaineering. The following is an outline of the history and origins of rock climbing. The beginnings. Mountaineering. Mountaineering in Europe. Rock climbing initially emerged as part of the activity of mountaineering in Europe in the 19th century. Mountaineers often faced technical challenges in the form of steep cliffs that had to be climbed to reach the mountain peak. Early development of rock climbing. In the late 19th century, rock climbing began to emerge as a separate activity, separate from mountaineering. This was especially the case in Europe, where some famous cliffs such as the Alps and the Dolomites in Italy became training grounds for climbers. Pioneering climbers. Climbers such as George Mallory and Owen Glyn-Jones in England, and Hans Dulfer in Germany, is considered a pioneer in the development of more advanced rock climbing techniques. Development of techniques and equipment. Early equipment. In the early days, the equipment used was very simple, such as ropes made of natural fibers and wooden pegs. Rock climbing techniques also continued to develop, with many new techniques being discovered to overcome various types of cliff faces. Evolution of equipment. Over time, rock climbing equipment became safer and more efficient. In the early 20th century, stronger ropes, pitons, and carabiners began to be used. Rock climbing as a sport. 1930s to 1950s. Rock climbing began to gain recognition as a sport in its own right. During this period, climbing communities began to form, and several famous rock climbing areas became widely known, such as Yosemite in the United States. Development of routes and difficulty standards. Climbers began to establish specific routes and developed a grading system to measure the challenge of each climbing route. Modern rock climbing. 1970s and 1980s. The modern era of rock climbing began with the emergence of famous climbers such as Reinhold Messner and Lynn Hill, who pushed the limits of human climbing ability. In addition, sport climbing or climbing with permanent safety equipment began to gain popularity. Indoor climbing. Indoor climbing began to develop in the late 20th century, with the construction of artificial climbing walls that allowed training and competition outside. Olympics. Rock climbing at the Olympics. Rock climbing reached its peak of popularity when it became an official sport at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. This marked the global recognition of rock climbing as a competitive and global sport. With a combination of long history, technical innovation, and growing popularity, rock climbing is now one of the most popular adventure sports in the world. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.